Yeah. Okay, welcome everyone. Wednesday night, Halacha and Chassidus Shir. We're going to try to combine Halacha and Chassidus together into one topic, as we've done actually the last couple of weeks. I can't promise I'll always do this, but I do like it when it works out. And we'll see how it goes.
And connect to the person.
I sort of
Okay, sort of is good.
did. Not really. You'll have to let me slide. Like I connected to last week's parsha, which is connected to this week's parsha. Is that good enough?
I think this is connected.
Okay.
We'll see.
You already learned it because you gave it to the printout, so you learned it already on the way here.
No spoilers.
Okay. Shalom Aleichem. I mean that both literally as well as it is the name of this tonight's class. Shalom Aleichem, peace in a world of discord. That's the fancy name I came up with. Let's take a look in the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, Daf Lamed Vav at the bottom. Of Uvnoi, Harav V'Talmidoi. If you have a father and a son, or you have a Rebbe and his Talmud, can they count separately on a Beis Din, on a Sanhedrin, as members of the Sanhedrin? So the Gemara says, no, ein moinin lahen ela echad. They actually only count for one person, even though they are biologically two separate people, but Sanhedrically, they are one person. They're not counting as two separate people. Why not? Why are they not two separate people? So Rashi, just if you flip the page in the Gemara, source number 2, it's on Lamed Vav on base top. He says that if he had learned from a different Rebbe, from a different Rav, then what would his opinion be? He would have said a different rationale, a different reasoning in whatever case was presented before the Sanhedrin. Meaning, if I understand Rashi correctly, that the Talmud is going to say what his Rebbe said. Not going to say something else. He's going to say what he was makabel from his Rebbe. Same thing with a father and a son. What's the son going to say? Whatever the father says. Maybe, nowadays it's not so simple. Parents, children, relationships, whatever. But certainly when kids are little, what do kids talk about in school? My father says that. The kid understands it. The kid doesn't understand it. Whatever. A child says what his father says. A yeshiva student says what his Rosh Yeshiva says. So therefore, they don't have a different opinion, and therefore on a Sanhedrin, they don't count as two separate people. Because they're going to say the same rationale anyway. And the whole vart of a Sanhedrin, the whole idea of a Sanhedrin, a Beis Din, etc., is to have a difference of opinions. After all, Chazal tell us, I didn't put this source on the sheet, I meant to originally, but I have all the blank space on page 2. I should have put it there, but I forgot. Ein deosehon Shabbos. That whatever you have, whenever or wherever you have different people, one thing you know for sure is they're not going to agree on everything. That's one thing you know for sure.
They're going to agree on something.
And even oftentimes the things they do agree on, it's for different reasons. Like a person might say, I agree with you, but not for the same reason that you're saying, a different reason. You may agree on certain things as well, but the general rule is no people are alike. Nobody agrees on 100% of the things, which is important to, of course, talk to people who are in the process of dating and looking for a spouse. Don't look for someone who has the same opinions as you, because you're never going to find it. Okay, don't look for someone who has all the different opinions. That's probably not a good idea either. But in other words, if you find someone, a potential shidduch, a potential match, that's different than you, that doesn't agree with you on 100% of the things, great. That's normal. That's normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. Ein deosehon Shabbos. No two people are exactly alike. No two people agree on 100% of the things. And again, oftentimes, even when we do agree, it's slight variations or nuance or whatever it may be. And that's, of course, part of the beauty of life, is that everybody's different. That's how we learn it in part. So Oh, I knew I forgot another source on here. Okay, I was now source number 2 that I forgot to put on. As I was about to print this, I'm like, I better not print it because I better figure out what I'm missing here, so that way I don't say, I forgot to put something on it. But I did. I wanted to quote the pasuk from Tehillim, Kapitel Nun 55, which says, "Poda b'sholom nafshi," that my soul was redeemed in peace. Maybe not the parsha, but it's Kislev, Yud Kislev, Yud Kislev. Do you mind just grabbing me one of the Hebrew English Tehillims over there, the brown Tehillims over there? Just if you can. The Tehillim, yeah. Some people say you're not supposed to say Tehillim at night. Many people don't recite Tehillim at night, but certainly
and learning different.
yeah, I'm saying we can learn it. We're not going to recite it. We're just going to learn it. So it says, it should be on the source sheet, but it's not. Poda b'sholom nafshi, that he redeemed my soul in peace. Hashem redeemed my soul in peace. Ki v'rabim hoyu imodi. This was the part I really wanted to quote. This verse. Ki v'rabim hoyu imodi. Because of the many who were with me. Of the many who were with me. That the shalom, poda b'sholom nafshi, the peace, the redemption and peace comes when? Ki v'rabim hoyu imodi. Because of the many who were with me. Which on a simple level means Rabim hoyu imodi. I had many people on my team. I had many people on my side supporting me and encouraging me and helping me go forward. And in that context, in that framework, Poda b'sholom nafshi, Hashem redeemed me. Hashem set me free. So interestingly, the Medrash Tillim on this pasuk says, source number 3, Ki v'rabim hoyu imodi. You know what that means? Eilu Sanhedrin. That's the Sanhedrin actually. So the Medrash says, it's referring to the Sanhedrin. The Rabbim, the many, the multiple, is a reference of the Sanhedrin. When you have many people, they don't all agree on everything. You have multiple different opinions. So when the Sanhedrin gets together and they're presented a case in front of them, how do they come to a psak? How do they come to a determination? Well, they discuss it. They go back and forth. There's a whole discussion. The Gemara Sanhedrin over here. Where do you start? Who gets to say the opinion first? Maybe if the Rosh Hashiva says his opinion first, nobody's going to want to differentiate. It's like if the Rebbe already said something, well, I'm going to say different. Don't ask me what I think after what the Rebbe says. Whatever the Rebbe said, I'm good with that. So there's a whole discussion in the Sanhedrin. Who gets to speak first? It depends. Is it a case of Dini Mominus? Case of monetary case? Is it a case of Dini Nefashos? So, okay.
Case against or in defense, right? Isn't that also?
There's all sorts of different discussions about this. Exactly. Where do we start? So they discuss back and forth. And each dayan, each member of the Sanhedrin gets to voice their opinion. Of course, some people are going to agree. We're either going to say he's guilty or he's innocent. We're going to have one or two opinions in most cases. Either you owe the money or you don't owe the money. He's guilty or he's innocent. At the end of the day, we're pretty much guaranteed, I guess there's no such thing as a guarantee, but we're pretty much guaranteed that there will be differences of opinion. So how do you know what to do? Well, the pasuk says in Parshas Mishpatim, my bar mitzvah parsha, actually, coming up, Perek Chav Gimel. Let's take a look inside our handy dandy Aryeh Kaplan translation. Acharei Rabim Lahatos, a famous pasuk. So the pasuk says, Lo sihia acharei Rabim l'ra'os. Do not follow the majority to do evil, right? Even if everyone is doing all sorts of stuff, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. It's talking about following a majority to impose a death penalty. Don't necessarily do that. Do not speak up in a trial. Lintois means to go astray, it translates here to pervert justice. Acharei rabim lahatos. A case must be judged on the basis of the majority. Acharei rabim lahatos. So that's what the Sanhedrin does. The Sanhedrin takes into account all different opinions. And again, everyone must have a different opinion. You can't have Ovu v'noi. You can't have Rav v'talmidoi, because those are not two different opinions. The Talmud's going to say what the Rebbe said, and the son is going to say what the father said. So we must have each member of the Sanhedrin is completely independently thinking. And therefore, based on human nature, we'll have a slightly different opinion, maybe a completely different opinion, or at least some kind of nuance. So comes time to paskin a din. What does the Sanhedrin do? They turn to Parshas Mishpatim and they say, guys, herzechain acharei rabim lahatois. Majority rules. This is all familiar, right? This is normal. Yeah? Okay. Here's where we're going to go into the deep end. Everything up till now, I believe, has been relatively straightforward. We are now going to take a trip to Dvinsk, the town of Dvinsk, to the Rav in Dvinsk, the Rogachover Goin, Rabbi Yosef Rosen. Now, there were actually reportedly two Rabbanim in Dvinsk at the time. The Rogachover Goin, Rabbi Yosef Rosen, passed away in 1936. I don't know when he was born, 1850 something or whatever, 1858 or something like that. He was born in Rogachov, hence the name the Rogachover Goin, the genus of Rogachov. Rogachov was in Belarus, which I guess is Ukraine today or something like that, right? Wherever, you know where Belarus is? It's somewhere over there. He was born in Rogachov, Belarus, and he died in Vienna, and then was brought back to Dvinsk, where he is interred. Actually, there used to be a person who lived around the block over here, also named Yosef Rosen. He was Yosef Chanoch Rosen, friend of mine, Yosef Rosen. You know Yosef Rosen. He lives now in northern Eretz Yisrael, somewhat near Tzvas and Carmiel. I visited him there a couple of years ago. So he shared a name, or mostly the name, but the Yosef Rosen, this Yosef Rosen, generally just called the Rogachover Goin, the genus of Rogachov. And they say that even though he was alive, the 1900s, even in the Mamishanar, 1800s, 1900s, he was alive, that he belonged in a completely different generation, and that he was probably more like from the times of the Tanoim of the Amoraim. This is what they say about him. And in the town of Dvinsk, he was the Chassidish Rav. There was also a Litvish Rav, the Or Sameach, who wrote a famous commentary on the Rambam called Or Sameach. And they say that someone, I don't know, there's a lot of stories about the Rogachover Goin. They say, first of all, that when he was a young child, I guess in Rogachov, he already quickly outgrew the local cheder. And I guess the Rebbe told his parents, listen, I can't keep up with this boy. You got to send him off to the big city, where they have a big yeshiva with more people who can teach him. So they sent him off to, I don't actually know where he went, sent him off to the big city, the big yeshiva somewhere. And the story goes that on the train, he was a young boy, 9, 10 years old, something like that, on the train to his on his way to his new yeshiva. He's sitting there with the Gemara. He's learning Gemara, about 9, 10-year-old boy learning Gemara. And there's another man on the train, sees this boy learning Gemara. That's Gishmak, that's so nice. A young boy learning Gemara. He goes over there. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? Which Gemaras do you know? He asks the little boy. Half. The man says, half? Which half? And the boy says, whichever half you would like to test me on. So he's very sharp, a very sharp wit. And he didn't mince words. He was very straight and sharp and to the point. They say also that they once asked the Or Sameach, isn't it intimidating to be in the same town as the Rogachover Goin? Well, you're a Talmud Chacham yourself, but to be the Rav in the same town with the Rogachover Goin, they say he has a photographic memory. He remembers everything he's ever learned. So the Or Sameach is reported to have said it's not true. He does not have a photographic memory. He does not remember everything that he ever learned. It's just that whatever question you ask him, whatever masechta you ask him, he just learned. So he was very fast. It was very sharp, the Rogachover Goin. And his style, for the most part, is extremely cryptic. Very, very difficult to understand. His style, very cryptic. A lot of his things are just like quoting sources. Like, go look in the Taisus and Erevin. You're like, all right, sure. And also, by the way, the Gemara, the Yerushalmi over there in Sukkah. Oh, because I'm supposed to know what that can, and he doesn't tell you necessarily what it even means. He'll tell you Taisus here, Gemara here, and you're supposed to understand what he means. Anyway, very cryptic. But so this morning, I was sitting in 770, and I was in the library, and I was looking for a certain sefer of the Rogachover Goin. This farmer called the Tzofnas Poneach, which is the name of Yosef Atzadik, is called in Chumash, right? They have the same name, Yosef. So I couldn't find. Someone sees me looking and says, "Can I help you find something?" I said, "Yeah, I'm looking for Tzofnas Poneach, but there's a few different. There's one on the Rambam, there's one on the Chumash, and there's this one called the Kloli Atayv Mitzvah." He says, "I don't know." I said, "I don't know what book is it in the Rambam book? Is it in the Chumash? I don't know where it is. How do I even find this?" So ask that guy. That guy knows. So I asked the guys. I don't know. He showed me another Tzofnas. Anyway, then I went to the Koilel in Crown Heights because I figured someone there's going to know. And so someone looking around, someone saying, "What are you looking for?" I said, "I'm looking for the tzafnas paneach." Okay, I think I know where it is. It looks. No, that's not it. Oh, there it is. So he found it. So I was able to look it up, and then I found it at home again on the Eitzar Chacham. In any event, that was a story about nothing. But here we go. Here is his analysis. Be'emes, we're not going to go through all the details, but be'emes v'chaygav neplibus and hedin aflamri yasham misham. Okay. In such a case, heicha, in such a case, when the haroiv oimer kach, the majority in a particular case says kach, he's guilty, he's innocent, whatever they say. V'hamiut, but the minority says lahefech, they say the opposite. No, he's innocent. So how do we pass it? Source number 4, Parsha Bishpatim, acheri rabin lahatis, you go after the majority, right? So you have the majority is saying one thing, and the minority is saying the opposite. What do we do? The azlina basaroiv, the halacha is we follow the majority. So the shaila is as follows. When we say that we follow the majority, what does that mean? 3 possibilities of what it means. Im hamiut yeshnoi, the minority is still there. Those guys who said the opposite, the minority, they're still there. They just overruled because they're the minority. Option number 1. Or option number 2, oi, the hamiut k'moshe einoy. Doesn't even exist anymore. It's like bottle. It's like the milk, drop of milk falls in the chicken soup. It's not even there. So do we say that the opinion of the minority is k'moshe einoy, as if it's not even existent?
So there's no minority.
There's no minority. There's only the people that pass in according to the majority. And the other people are invisible now. They disappeared. Option number 2. Option number 3. That the minority is still there, but now they have, what's a good word in English? They've
like uniform front.
Huh?
Like they're united in the.
Now they have a seated, huh?
Switched over.
Switched over to agree with the majority opinion. 3 approaches. Number 1. The minority is there, but they're the minority. So they lose. Option number 2, the minority disappears. The milk in the chicken soup, it's not even there. Gone. Totally bottled. Option number 3, they're there, but they've now joined the dark side. They joined the opinion of the majority.
In a practical sense, what would that mean though? Like
That's a good question. That's a good question. Or that's a good. The Rogachover is not going to leave us hanging. Okay. The next paragraph in the Rogachover is skipping some information there. I already wrote about it. Fine. The Yesh Gimel Shitos. There are 3 approaches. Do we say that the minority is now, keep your caution in mind, that the minority is now considered as if they also ruled the same way as the majority? So now we have 100% consensus. Or number 2, a commotion is batlu. No, they're batlu. They're not even there. Or number 3, the anapaskin and kaharoiv. Or no, they're there. We just paskin like the majority. Again, same 3 things. He just said it in different words. What's the practical difference between these 3 things? Or are we just splitting hairs? Is there an actual difference? Is there a halachic difference? Again, or is this just theory? Says the Rogachover going, there's a practical halachic difference. Get ready. V'nafkamina imacharkach rotu based in acher levatal divreihem. Gewaldig. If in a subsequent point in time, another based in wants to now go against what the earlier based in said. And we have certain rules about, once a based in paskin something, we have certain rules about what the other based in has to do in order to paskin against them. They have to be greater, considered a greater based in, etc. Fine. So let's say comes along a greater based in, whatever exactly the definition of greater is, not our discussion today. Let's say the greater based in comes along and wants to go against the psak din of the based in of the previous generation. And let's say they meet the criteria to be allowed to do that. Says the Rogachover going as follows. How much of a majority do they have to have? How do they overrule the previous ruling? In connected kola based in arishan. Do they have to paskin against all the entire? Do they have to have enough to overrule all members of the previous Beis Din, even the guys who voted for the minority? Because now they are considered as if they are on the majority side. So if they're passing against all of them, or can I get it right or no? There were 51 guys, 51%. We'll pass it against them. So how much of a majority, how much power do we have to have over them? Or could we take the minority and say, hey, they agree with us. The minority, the previous Beis Din that argued against you guys, but lost because of the rule, we're going to bring them on our side now in our subsequent generation and use them to pass it against you.
Which you can't do if they're bottle or if they
right.
agree. You can't do that.
Right. So should we convene a Beis Din right now and make a psak din and then make another Beis Din and rule against ourselves? We don't know how to do it. Minority, majority, do we count? Do we not count?
We have an even number of people.
Okay, that's a whole problem. Why you can't have an even number of people on a Beis Din? They have 3, right? Of course, the Gemara Sanhedrin talks about certain cases when even one person could paskin on their own. Certain cases, one person could paskin. It depends who they are. Depends on if they're, Okay. Good questions, comments so far? Keep some of these ideas in your mind. They may or may not become more clear. But are we more or less understand what we're talking about here? Yeah. We have a Beis Din, a Sanhedrin. We have a rule. Everybody's going to have different opinions, and it must be. You can't have a father and the son. You can't have a Rebbe and his Talmud. It must be everybody with a separate opinion. And then from those disparate opinions, from the differences of opinions, from the discord, we're going to paskin. How are we going to paskin? Majority. But now the Rogatchover says majority. What's actually happening when we paskin like the majority? Is the minority overruled? Is the minority effectively kicked out, disbanded? You guys can leave. You're meaningless. You're nothing. You're invisible. You don't count. Or does the minority say, now that they've paskined, I see their side. It makes sense. I agree with them now. What happens exactly? That's the Rogatchover going. Okay? Now, being that this past month is Shabbos, we said Kiddush Levana. So, source number 6, Kiddush Levana. Shalom Aleichem. We say Shalom Aleichem to someone, and then B'chaveira Meshiv, and then he says Aleichem Shalom. Let's take a look in the Torah. The Torah, Simin Tov Chav Vav, which is the laws of Kiddush Levana. I thought often we should do a series of classes on Kiddush Levana because there's some it's like one of those weird we go outside, we jump up and down, we look at the moon, don't look at the moon, okay, you're not supposed to look at it, but you should look at it. You can see you get it. And then we did that tzitzis, you know what I'm talking about? After you're supposed to shake it, what is that all about? Okay, maybe we'll do a series of classes on it, but we're starting now. We're getting a taste now. So says the Torah. What's the difference?
Aleichem versus Aleichem.
Huh?
Aleichem versus Aleichem?
Yeah. Does anybody hear Shalom Aleichem? Does anybody here in your siddur, if you can remember, I'm not quizzing you, if you can remember in your siddur by Kiddush Levana, do you say Shalom Aleichem or Shalom Alecha? Aleichem. Anybody say Shalom Alecha? The Torah says to say Shalom Alecha, and the Ramah passes this way as well. Shalom Alecha. Why did I not quote the Ramah over here? Good question. But the Torah says Gimel Pa'am Shalom Alecha. The reason is because look at source number 8, the Bach. The Bach is commenting on the Torah. Check out what the Bach says. Shalom Alecha. That's the correct way to do it. The Bach says this is the meduyak way to say it. This is the precise, correct way to say Shalom Alecha. That's the Bach on the Torah.
Singular instead of plural.
Yeah. Yet in the Siddur, which I copied here, source number 6, which is the Siddur Torah. But as far as I know, everybody here Siddur says Shalom Aleichem. Okay. This is now source number 9 is Likutei Diburim, which is a work written by the Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, passed away in 1950. And Likutei Diburim, by the way, is a book you got to read. It's a book you got to read. There is a masterful English translation, probably one of the single greatest works, if I may say so myself, of English translation on the planet. Not that I'm able to judge that necessarily, but I'm going to say it anyway. It is phenomenal work of translation. He somehow retains the Reichkeit, the richness of the Yiddish. The original text is like mostly Yiddish, like a Yiddish and Hebrew, or like Lashon HaKodesh. But the English really retains the flavor. I think at least. Amol, in days gone by, says the Friedrich, is der Proster Shalom Aleichem euch given andere, a emisser, a reiner. In days gone by, the ordinary Shalom Aleichem was different. It was true and pure. Amol is given andrish. Things used to be different. The emes is given a matbeya mahaleches. The emes, truth, used to be sound currency. That's a fascinating translation. In the Yiddish, it's a matbeya mahaleches, which is really Lashon HaKodesh, a coin that travels, a coin that goes. So he says here, a sound currency. You can take it anywhere. It's better than Bitcoin. The emes was a matbeya mahaleches, was sound currency. In matbeya, he says, you have different types of coins, right? Quarters, nickels, whatever. How do you pronounce these? A tzvayer, a pitak, un a ruble, un mer. A tzvayer, a pitak, a ruble, and so forth. Different types of coins. Aber a tzvayer emes is takiven emes. Even the tzvayer, which was the small coin, a penny, was also emes. Was worth its true value. Mir is allein given emes in der proste shalom aleichem und aleichem shalom euch given emes. Because people themselves were true. Their everyday shalom aleichem and aleichem shalom were true. Mir is allein given warm in der mitwoch dicke shalom aleichem und aleichem shalom euch given a warm. People themselves were warm, and therefore their ordinary midweek. Mittwoch really means Wednesday in Yiddish. Mittwoch is Wednesday, but it doesn't mean Wednesday. It means smack in the middle of the work week. You're right in the middle. It's right in the middle of the work week. The ordinary midweek Shalom Aleichem and Aleichem Shalom were warm. Und as zwei Yidden haben sich getroffen, and when two Jews met in the street or the market or in shul or wherever it was, hat sich gesagt Shalom Aleichem und Aleichem Shalom mit a chayes pnimi. They would say Shalom Aleichem and Aleichem Shalom to each other from the life within. I love this fantastic piece. Okay. Okay. Anyway, yeah. I just put it there because I thought it was Gishmak. Taita Or, Alter Rebbe. We learned this mimer last week, I think. We did not. Did we? We did not. We did not. Okay. Well, anyway, we're going to learn now. Taita Or from Alter Rebbe, Parshas Vayetze. Yaakov Avinu, in the beginning of last week's parsha, says, "V'shavti v'shalom beis ovi." I want to return. I will return in peace to my father's home. V'zeu v'shavti v'shalom. Return in peace. Ki bechinas oinik hanal shizgal la'osi v'dafka ide bechinas halois v'amshochis shebechinas habirurim lamata bechinas kafi v'shabcha kanal shenikel bechinas shalom. That when Mashiach comes, there's going to be a great oinik, a great pleasure that's going to be revealed when Mashiach comes. But there's different ways that it's going to come about. He says there's something that comes milamata, from below, which we're going to talk about now. Lias ki shalom hu machaber shnei afochim. What does shalom mean? Peace means that there was previously discord. So peace, by definition, means we're joining together two opposite sides. Like in the Sanhedrin, we have different opinions, coming to some type of resolution. You make peace with someone who you previously had a disagreement with. That's peace. So shalom is mechaber shnei hafachim. He makes peace on high. What is the peace on high? Spiritual. Shemichal sar shel mayim. The angel Michael is the minister of water. The Gavriel sar shel eish, and Gavriel is the minister of fire. Normally, the water extinguishes the fire. But in the case of Michael and Gavriel, they don't extinguish one another. We make peace between them. There's a resolution. Peace to the one who was far and the one who was close. Hainu beis bechinas shalom. That's what it means. V'shavti b'shalom. I will return in peace. V'shavti b'shalom means v'shavti, I will return beis to shalom. Two types of shalom. Two shaloms, two pieces. What are they? Beis bechinas shalom. Shalom milamata. Peace from below. I'm sorry. Shalom milamata l'mayla. From below to above. V'hainu l'rochik shenaisa korev. To one who's distant, who now comes close. That's one type of peace. That's from below to above. The one who's far is coming close. And the second type of peace, second type of shalom, from above to below. That godliness descends from above to below. So there's two types of peace. V'shavti b'shalom, base shalom. Two types of shalom. From below to above and from above to below. Keep that in mind. Let's take a look now at Likutei Sichos from the Rebbe. But the Chur is not move on. It doesn't make sense. What doesn't make sense? Why do we say not like the Tur, not like the Ramah? Why do we say, even to one, mainly if there's a group of people, I say Shalom Aleichem. Fine. Plural. But even if there's only one other individual, I say Shalom Aleichem. I'm sorry. I say Shalom Aleichem. Not just in Kiddush Levana. If you see someone in Shul, someone says Shalom Aleichem. You don't say Shalom Aleichem. Why not? It would make more sense to say Alecha if I'm just with one person, right? So why do we say Shalom Aleichem? Nit Alecha migefinzi in Gemara, the Lashon Shalom Alecha Rebbe V'Mari, which that language Shalom Alecha does exist in the Gemara after all. The language exists in the Gemara, Shalom Alecha Rebbe V'Mari. So why don't we say like the Gemara, Shalom Alecha? Why do we say Shalom Aleichem even if there's only one person there? That's question number one. Question number two. Farvos entfered der Zweiter Aleichem Shalom. In a verkehrten Seder, lagabi wie es sagt der Pesach. Why does the response have to be the opposite? I should say to you, Shalom Aleichem. But no, I said the opposite. Keep on trying to contradict you, so to speak. In fact, if you look in front of 57, on the bottom of the page, Re'eh Sefer Taimim Minhagim, Kama Taimim Alzeh, different reasons. We didn't bring them on the class. Maybe we should have. Maybe if we revisit this year, we'll bring some of the reasons from over here in footnote 57. However, the point I want to read is as follows: footnote 57. But you do hatzachus bazeh. It was like a shtickle joke, not like a funny joke, but a joke. As soon as one guy says to you Shalom Aleichem, I have to say the opposite. I said, it's the opposite. Whatever you say to me, it must be the opposite. However, as we're going to see soon, that even in this so-called joke, that of course, if one person says something, then another guy has to contradict him. Like they say, 2 Jews, 3 opinions, has to contradict him. But we're going to see that actually there's actually something being added here. We're going to see. So, question number 1: why do we say Shalom Aleichem in the plural? Question number 2: why do I respond with the opposite phrase? Good. And that's going back, right, to source number 6, Kiddush Levana, Shalom Aleichem. And source number 7 and 8, the Torah and the Bach, we say it should say Alecha, but we don't really say Alecha. And we're going to keep in mind what we saw in sources 1 through 5 also, especially the Tzachas Paneach, the Rogachover Goy, and how we pass in Din and Sanhedrin. Okay, let's take a look. The explanation is as follows. When 2 Yidden come together, you right away have a rabbim. You have multiple people now. Why? Because miut rabbim shnaim, the minimum number to have plural is 2. So as soon as you have 2 people together, you have no longer a yochid. You now have a reality called rabbim. Vos, which as soon as you have rabbim, we have to say ein deosei and shavos. They're not going to agree on everything. That is a guarantee. Whether it's husband and wife or 2 friends, doesn't make a difference. They're not going to agree on everything. That's the rule. That's human nature. So in Zera Voida besteht dann in Oiftan Achtus in dem Rabbin. So when two Jews meet on the street, we know one thing for sure is that they don't agree on everything, which means they have a job. And the job, huh?
They have what?
A job.
J-O-B?
J-O-B, not Eov, but job. That would be Job. They have a job. They have a task. Is that a better word? They have a task. The task at hand is to make shalom.
Challenge.
The challenge
They have a challenge.
is to make shalom. The challenge is to make achdus, unity within the rabbim that now exists as soon as I meet you on the street. Because as soon as I meet you, we have rabbim, we have multiple people, and we need to make achdus in the rabbim. With me so far? In der Far sagt man Shalom Aleichem. That's why the first guy says Shalom Aleichem, peace unto you. Meaning, as men darf mamshich sein Shalom va'achtus, Shalom mishmor Shalom Kadosh Baruch Hu, achtus pshuto in dem Aleichem Rabbim. What I'm really saying, I'm not saying, hey, how you doing? I'm saying I want to bring Shalom, peace, which is a name for God, into Aleichem. Aleichem is the plural, or multiplicity.
So why does it say Shalom Aleinu, including himself, as opposed to the Aleichem, which is almost removing yourself, and it's the plural of you. If he's bringing himself into the mix for Shalom, you can still get the same function of the plural.
Well, I don't know. But it could be because this is before we have Achdus. This is at the moment of meeting, at the moment of the encounter, there's still Rabbim. We don't have Achdus. We don't have Shalom. We just met. We just met on the street. Doesn't mean we just met like for the first time. We're just encountering each other right now. And by definition, there's going to be differences. There's going to be Rabbim. I don't know. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I guess that you can't say Aleinu. We don't have the Metzias of Aleinu yet. Aleinu means we're together, upon us. That's you. There's a separation, there's a difference. Maybe that's why. I don't know. So the statement Shalom Aleichem is not a greeting. It's a mission statement. As soon as I greet you, I tell you like this, listen, I'm going to put it on the table. I've got a mission in our meeting. And the mission is to bring Shalom, which is the name of God, which is peace. My mission is to bring Shalom, which is Achdus, unity, to bring that into the multiplicity of life, into the multiplicity of you and me, Aleichem, in plural. Not Alecha in the singular, Aleichem in the plural. I want to bring Shalom into the multiplicity. I want to bring Achdus. However, in der Achdus zwischen den Nifgoshim seine voran zwei Shalavu. In this very Achdus, that is my mission statement when I say to you Shalom Aleichem. Again, it's not just a greeting, it's a mission statement. This is what I want our relationship to be about. I want it to be about bringing Shalom, bringing Hashem's name into the world, into the multiplicity. It's a statement of purpose. There's two levels though. Zwei Shlavim, two levels or two stages. When the person who opens the greeting says Shalom Aleichem, all you know is that he's ready for peace. What about the guy who says it too? When the guy says Shalom Aleichem, you know he is ready to bring Shalom into the Rabbim, into the Aleichem. But I need you, my partner, in bringing Shalom to respond that you agree with me that you also want to bring Shalom into the world, into the you want to bring Achdus into the Rabbim. Otherwise, we don't have teamwork. Otherwise, it's just me. I want to bring Shalom in, but you don't agree. If, however, the guy merely responds the same thing, yes, Shalom Aleichem to you too, Rabbi, in the same language, then geht es on Ort zu trachten, als sein Ania Shalom kum nicht mitzad ihm. You might then think that his response is not coming from him. He's just parroting what you said. He's just saying the same thing. Hello? Hi. Same thing. It's like you might think that he just doesn't want to be rude to you. So, okay, you said Shalom Aleichem to me. Yeah, Shalom Aleichem. Like, I don't want to argue. I don't want to get into anything with you. Just like, okay, I'm not being rude. I'll acknowledge you. But it may be a formality. It may just be a courtesy, etiquette.
Like, good to see you. Oh, good to see you too.
Yeah, good to see you too,
right.
Habibi. Yeah, like, okay. A formality, small talk, like meaningless, nothing. So if I'm going to make shalom with you, I need you to know, I need to know that it's coming from you. That it's not coming from me. On my end, Shalom Aleichem, that is my stated purpose. To bring Shalom into the Aleichem. Are you with me? I didn't ask if you agree with me. I asked if you're with me. So if you just say Shalom Aleichem back, then you're parroting the words I said. How do I know that comes from you? So the riber, therefore, is there meshane from the boiseach. So therefore, the guy who responds has to change. He has to say something different. Und sagt Aleichem Shalom. Lahadgish. Why does he say Aleichem Shalom? To emphasize, not that he disagrees. No. That's like, I have to say the opposite of you. That was the joke in footnote 57. It's not a joke, but you know what I mean. Therefore, the person has to change the language and needs to say Aleichem Shalom lahadgish, to emphasize, as it is nit nor masking tun tzveitin Shalom Aleichem. It's not just that I agree with you. Yeah, good idea to bring peace into the world. Good idea. Nah, it's not just that I agree with you. Nor mitzad atzmoi vil shalom, that I also want this. It's not just your mission statement. It's not just your statement of purpose. It's also mine. So I need to make it part of me. We're just going to explain a little bit more. Und das ist euch der Tamachiluk in dem Seder Nusach. That's why we change. Der erste sagt Shalom Aleichem, der Shalom fahren Aleichem. You say Shalom before Aleichem. Why? Well, it is der Poiseach b'Shalom, because he's the one opening. He's the one greeting. Der Shalom kommt mitzad im. The peace comes from me. I'm saying to you, Shalom Aleichem. Was meant as a sovereign Shalom zwischen Aleichem. He demands, he wishes that there should be Shalom amongst the Aleichem, the Rabbim, which is Shalom milamayla lamata. That's from above to below. I want to bring Shalom into the Aleichem. It's a little bit of imposed peace treaties, imposed ceasefire. It's a little bit above to below. I'm going to bring Shalom into the world whether the world likes it or not, so to speak. It's almost like Avram Avinu. What did Avram Avinu do? He welcomes the guest into the tent. This is not the Parsha either, by the way, but it's still close enough.
Same book.
Same book, yeah. Same
family.
general,
Family.
same family. Okay, good. What does Avram Avinu do? He says, give them food to eat, food to drink. Okay, guys. And they're like, yeah, can you bring me the check? He's like, no, there's no check. You just have to thank God. Nah, come on. You gave me the food. Avram Avinu says, what are you talking about? If you don't bless God, you know how much it's going to cost you? You have to thank Hashem for the food. And he would force them to bless Hashem. Did it work? Yeah, sure it worked. For the time being, at least. Or it's like we spoke about Parsha told us in the Maimer Shabbos morning, about the difference in the digging of wells between Avram Avinu and Yitzchak Avinu. Avram Avinu dug wells, but the Plishtim came along, and what did they do? Filled them right back up. He dug deep beneath the surface to find the living waters beneath the surface, Avram Avinu did. But they get filled up again. Comes Yaakov Avinu, and he redigs them. Because instead of digging them on his own,
Yitzchak.
what did I say?
Yaakov.
Yitzchak.
Because Yaakov's were in this parsha.
Okay, I'm confused. Yitzchak redigs them, but this time, instead of just digging them for you, kind of like what Avram Avinu did, Avram Avinu makes you bless Hashem. He said, here's the well. Yitzchak says, here's a shovel. Dig your own well. Dig your own well, buddy. Do it yourself. That's Yitzchak Avinu. That lasts. That's why the Plishtim were not able to fill up those wells. They weren't able to stop them up. So too here. I say my statement of purpose, my mission statement, Shalom Aleichem, is to bring Shalom, is to bring Achdus into the Aleichem, into the multiplicity of the world, into the discord of the world. But I need you to be on my team. I need you to be together with me, but I ain't going to force you. I need it to come from you. And that's Aleichem Shalom. Within the Aleichem comes the Shalom, below to above. As the Rebbe says here, when the person says Aleichem Shalom, there's a chidush here, there's a novelty. As der Rabim Gufa Macht Shalom. The plural, the plurality, the discord, the multiplicity, that is what creates the Shalom. Fun Aleichem vert Shalom. From the multiple comes the peace. Shalom milamata lamayla. Peace from below to above. No more sources. Sorry, we ran out of sources. What are we talking about? Anybody understand anything we spoke about today?
How does it all connect?
Okay. Let's try to do a quick review. So we spoke about the Gemara in Sanhedrin that talks about a Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin, by definition, needs different people with different opinions. If you have the same opinion as someone else, like a father and a son, like a Rebbe and his Talmud, you can't be on the Sanhedrin together. Right, you would count as one. Because your opinion is the same. I don't need people with the same opinion. I need people with different opinions. That's the Sanhedrin. I need people with different opinions, by definition. Why? Because the real way to get to a psak halacha, the real way to get to a resolution, the real way to figure out what to do, so to speak, to bring shalom, is only when you have opposites, when you have differences, and from within that you create the shalom. That's the highest level. Right? Like Rashi said, you can't have the father and the son, or the Rebbe and the Talmud, because he's going to just parrot what his Rebbe said. You're not going to go against your Rebbe. And we had the Rogachover Goins, 3 different approaches to it. Does the minority get overruled? Is the minority considered as if they don't exist anymore, they're bottled? Or does the minority reconsider their opinion after the Psak Din and come to a realization that, maybe I do see it from their side. Maybe I do agree with them after all. And that's Shalom Aleichem we're saying. That's why we don't say Alecha, the way the Torah brings. And the Bach even goes to the extent to say, Alecha, Shalom Alecha, that's the correct language, the Bach says. No, we don't say that. We say Shalom Aleichem, because that's the whole Vart. The whole Vart is to have, like the Frierdiker Rebbe said in source number 9, to have an emes of Shalom Aleichem, a real, sincere, true, clean, pure Shalom Aleichem. That when I greet another Yid, I say to him Shalom Aleichem. That's what I'm hoping to gain out of our relationship. That's going to be my goal in our encounter, is to bring Shalom into the Aleichem, from above to below. Remember, V'shavti b'Shalom, Yaakov Avinu says, and the Alter Rebbe explains, V'shavti b'Shalom is base Shalom. 2 types of peace, from above to below, from below to above. Then we have a full connect. We have a rounded out picture, if you will. Shalom Aleichem means that God's presence is being brought into the world from above to below. Shalom, Achdus, name of God, into the Aleichem, into the multiplicity of the world. But then the world responds and says, yeah. Aleichem Shalom, from below to above. From within the Aleichem is generated and is created Shalom. And this, of course, relates to the upcoming Yontiv of Yutes Kislev, when the Alter Rebbe got out of prison, which is next week, God willing. And like we said, we quoted from the beginning in the Posuk in Tilim, Poda b'Shalom nafshi. Again, Poda b'Shalom. I was redeemed in peace, but it's base Shalom. 2 types of peace. From below to above, from above to below, that comes first, and below to above. And it's this way in marriage and relationships, in parenting, in friendships. It can't just be from above to below, right? It's got to be from below to above. Everything needs to come ultimately that the first one party, whether it's the spouse or a parent or a child or 2 friends or sibling, whatever it may be, has to reach out and say, Shalom Aleichem. That's what I'm about here. That's what I'm trying to achieve here. But for the real Shalom to come about, it needs to be from within the differences of opinion. Then comes Aleichem Shalom. The peace from within the differences. So that's Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. I should have put it on the source sheet. My soul, he redeemed my soul in peace. Again, Pada B'Shalom is base Shalom. Then the pasuk continues, Kiverabim hoyu imadi. Givaldik. You hear it? I hear the deeper pshat here. The pasha pshat Kiverabim hoyu imadi is, as they translated here, because of the many who were with me. Meaning, I had a good team. I had good people in my corner. The deeper pshat is, no, because of the rabbi, that's why I was redeemed in peace. Because there were differences. Because we didn't all agree. Because we didn't all see eye to eye. Because ein deosei on Shabbos.
I heard the Steinsaltz once said something like, unity doesn't come from uniformity. Something like that. It's something along those lines.
You would say that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Like
It's
unity
like
is not uniformity.
The newly married guy comes to his therapist or his rabbi, whoever, says, "Oh no, my wife and I had an argument." It's like, what did you think? You were going to agree on everything? It's not possible. So ki v'rabim hoyu ki, because, not because I had people in my corner, I had a good team, and yeah, also the deeper pshat here now in light of what we're discussing tonight, because of the rabbim, that's why Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. Because of the rabbim, what did you say? That the uniformity? No, unity doesn't come from uniformity. Is that what you said?
Right, or it's, yeah.
Or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
We're
I
quoting
don't
now
remember
someone that
myself. Yeah.
But the word is there.
The word is there. The two.
It's like, it's
yeah.
all new pshat in the pasuk in Tillim. Ki v'rabim hoyu imadi. It's because of the rabbim. The difference is the argument, maybe not arguments, I shouldn't say arguments, but the difference is the arguments even.
Like unity is not uniformity, basically.
Yeah. And the Sanhedrin, to be a real Sanhedrin, which is in of Kedusha, something holy in the Torah, has to have different opinions. It has to be different. That's how we get to the imodi. That's how we get to the Pada B'Shalom. So the Alter Rebbe said on Yudtes Kislev, after Yudtes Kislev, that he was notified that he would be released from prison while he was reciting this pasuk. Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. Mikrav Li. Kiverabim hoyu imod. When he was reciting this pasuk, he was notified that he was freed from prison. From there came the Tanya. From there came Teres Chassidus spreading forth in a big way, all because of the rabbin. So God willing, we should all be zeichet to be redeemed in peace, both types of peace, whatever kind of peace Hashem wants to give us. Shalom from above to below, from below to above. Give us all the good peace, give us all the good blessings. And in Mitzvah Hashem, we'll have the ultimate Padiyah B'Shalom, the ultimate Pada B'Shalom, which is the coming of Mashiach, maybe very, very speedily. So I hope you enjoyed this little journey into some of the halachic ramifications of Shalom Aleichem and Sanhedrin and so on and so forth. And we continue, God willing, next week. Also, Thursday, that's tomorrow, believe it or not, is Leil Shishi, learning, 8:30 to 10, God willing, with some refreshments, some food, more than refreshments usually, food and Torah learning. Everyone is invited to come, Mitzvah Hashem, and thank you everyone for coming tonight. What? Oh, Ma'ariv? Yeah.